Calhoun County basketball tournament action from here at Pete Matthews Coliseum. We move to the boys' side of the bracket now as the Sacred Heart Cardinals take on the Anniston Bulldogs. Alongside John Holder, I'm Chase Robinson with you courtside for this one, and what is going to be a really exciting boys game here on semifinal Saturday night. And John, these two teams, they've played already this season, and of course Anniston, who's been playing and competing for the title here in Calhoun County for years, and Sacred Heart, who's really been on the come up the last 5 years trying to get back to the championship.
It's not often, Chase, that we talk about a 4A school having a big rivalry with a small 1A school. That doesn't happen in most instances, but as we know, Sacred Heart is not your typical small 1A school, having won 3 consecutive Class 1A state championships, and they play all comers from all states. This year already playing teams from Alabama and Mississippi and Georgia, and playing up at the 7A level as well. And so what has happened is Sacred Heart being in Anniston, of course, there in the city of Anniston, you have developed a rivalry there between these two teams because all these players, all these coaches, they all know each other very well. And so when we get to the county tournament with what's at stake here in the Calhoun County basketball tournament, we usually see a very intense, it's rare when we get them like we do tonight, but we're getting an Anniston Sacred Heart matchup, and it promises to be very intense here tonight at Pete Matthews Coliseum.
Sacred Heart has made it to the championship game the last 4 seasons, only winning 1 of those, though, so they're looking to get here tonight. Last time these two teams met up, Sacred Heart won that one 57-40 back in early December. Anniston beat Faith earlier this week. Sacred Heart took down Weaver last night, so Anniston's had a little more time to get ready for this one, John.
And of course, one of the top basketball players in the state plays for Sacred Heart, Deontay Wood, outstanding player. Injured a little bit in that game against Weaver, didn't play really past the first quarter of that game. Steven Stansels really stepped up his game, had, I believe, 19 points, a big game last night for Sacred Heart. Probable is what we hear with Deontay Wood playing in this game tonight. Of course, last year he didn't play in the championship game because of a suspension, because of an incident that happened during the game, and he was suspended because he had a couple of technicals. So we'll see what happens with Deontay Wood here as we tip things off between Anniston and Sacred Heart.
As we look at the starting lineups there for the Anniston Bulldogs, William Fairley, James Haynes, Savion Bethune, Dontavius Davis, and Theron Montgomery. And for Sacred Heart, Quinn Riggins, Deontay Wood, Victor Wilson, Murdoch Simmons, and Khalil Watkins. There's the starters for the Sacred Heart Cardinals as we are ready to tip this one off. Deontay Wood and Dontavius Davis will be tipping it off for us for a chance to play in the championship Monday night here at the Pete. And here we go, getting boys action underway, and the ball's going to go out to start, so Sacred Heart will have the ball at half court.
Good crowd filing in. I think people have cabin fever. They're ready to get out of the house and go somewhere and do something tonight. We encourage you to come out to the Coliseum. Still 3 more games, this one and 2 more tonight.
Dontavius Davis gets a quick steal there for the Bulldogs as they pitch it ahead. Haynes fairly toss it around up top to Montgomery, to Bethune. Bethune drives, goes up. First points of the game there for Savion Bethune and the Anniston Bulldogs.
Nice penetration by Bethune as he has a running hook shot from around 8 feet in the paint, and the first blood goes to Anniston.
Inside to Wood, back to Riggins. Shot on the way is no good from Quinn Riggins. And here comes Anniston and Bethune. Montgomery to Haynes inside, picked off by Murdoch Simmons. He'll drive it in, and an offensive foul will be called against Simmons.
Out of control a little bit as he was running the floor that time. We'll see the replay right here, and a good call by the officials that time. As you don't see a lot of folks standing there and take that charge. William Fairley did a great job that time at the last minute setting his feet, and a good call by the officials, and really a turnover for Sacred Heart. That was going to be probably a basket there without that charge.
Bethune will set up the offense for the Bulldogs. Over to Haynes. To Montgomery, to Fairley in the corner to Bethune. Inside to the big man, Dontavius Davis. Off the back of the iron. He'll have one more shot at it, and he gets it this time.
Good hustle by Davis that time, battling, getting the rebound, then going inside. Kind of a mismatch as he had the height advantage on Murdoch. Simmons made a nice move to the basket, and Anniston out to the quick 4-0 lead.
Sacred Heart tossed it around, gets it down to Simmons. Deontay Wood with a rebound and the putback. First points for Sacred Heart there.
Double team on Simmons, missed the shot, but no one was there, and an easy garbage basket for Deontay Wood to score the first points for the Cardinals.
Bethune into Davis, but stolen away by Deontay Wood. And he'll take it across court for Sacred Heart. And there'll be a whistle against James Haynes, his first. That will be the team's first.
Ames with a hack on the arm that time. Pretty good ball handling skills. You see why Deontay Wood, the commitment to the University of Alabama, coming up the floor that time with a lot of pressure, handling the basketball. A guy who's 6'4", 6'5", handling the ball that well.
Downloaded Wood. Shot no good, but it's going to stay with the Cardinals as it goes out of bounds.
Deontay Wood battling on the inside. See the replay here. Good head fake, comes to the other side, but couldn't get the shot to fall.
Simmons three no good, and to the other way we go with William Fairley and the Anniston Bulldogs. Up top to Davis, to Bethune in the corner to Haynes. Three on the way, no good. And ball will go out of bounds.
Last touch by Deontay Wood. You know, that was an air ball, and it was an easy rebound. Sometimes it's kind of like being open in football where it's just too easy. That was kind of too easy for Deontay Wood, as he could not track down the basketball and dribbled it out of bounds.
Montgomery to Haynes, down to Davis. Wide open underneath, lays it up and in.
Nice play. Good screen to free Davis. Davis on the baseline. Easy shot, reverse layup. And Anniston right now playing some good basketball on the offensive end.
Riggins to Wilson. Across the court to Khalil Watkins, who buries a three for the Cardinals.
Watkins can light it up from the outside. Left him wide open that time on the wing in front of the Anniston bench, and he nailed the three from beyond 20 feet.
Bethune to Haynes. Wilson goes for it. Knocks it out of bounds. It's going to stay with the Bulldogs.
Nice knock away by Victor Wilson. Good hustle that time.
Sign out for Bethune and the Bulldogs. Into Haynes. Good three-point shooter, and a foul is called. They'll get Victor Wilson.
Almost. That could have gone either way. It could have been a foul. It could have been a backcourt because the heavy pressure was forcing James Haynes to go into the backcourt. But before his feet touched the backcourt, the half-court line, it would have been that backcourt violation. He was fouled. Good turn of events there for Anniston. That was a bang-bang play. Good call by the officials.
Bethune. He's going to drive in this time, and a foul whistle. That'll be against Khalil Watkins. His first, team's third there for the Cardinals.
Already not even halfway through quarter number one, and 3 fouls whistled against Sacred Heart.
First free throw good for Bethune.
Savion Bethune, the quarterback of the Anniston Bulldog football team. Outstanding athlete. Missed a lot of last season with an injury, but now back and fully healthy. Had a great football season. Had a nice basketball year for the basketball Bulldogs as well.
And the second one falls. 4 points on the day for Bethune here in the first quarter. As Riggins gets it up to Simmons, down low to Wood. He turns around, lays it up, no good. And there will be a foul called against the Bulldogs.
Working on Theron Montgomery on the inside. First thing is a nice post up. Good move to the basket. Then he went out of bounds, came back inbounds, and was almost able to get the rebound, and then was fouled.
Davis gets the steal for Anniston. The long ball to Fairley. He's on the other end for 2 points.
Fairley a little bit out of control that time, but was able to get the ball to fall. And Anniston continues. A 5-point lead now for the Bulldogs.
10-5 lead. Cardinals with the ball. Watkins to Riggins. He drives back to Watkins. 3 on the way. Good.
Will Watkins keeping Sacred Heart in this game. He has 6 of the 8 points for the Cardinals on 2 3-pointers, or else Anniston will be dominating this game, but he has been the offense for the Cardinals.
Riggins will pick up a foul there for Sacred Heart.
Another foul for Sacred Heart, as they now have been whistled for 4 total team fouls, and we're still relatively early in this game.
Bethune takes the inbound to Montgomery, to Fairley. He just dribbles around up top, gets it to Montgomery, to Bethune. Long 3 on the way, and a foul is called.
They're going to call a hold on the outside. If this is a shooting foul, it will be a 3-point. But it will not be. It will be before the ball was shot. It will be Anniston basketball.
It'll be Anniston's ball when we come back. 10-8 lead for the Anniston Bulldogs over the Sacred Heart Cardinals here at Pete Matthews Coliseum. It's the Calhoun County Basketball Tournament.
I got back my smack talk touchdown, hole-in-one, 3-point home run, hat-trick pavement pounding, record-setting goal across the finish line. Because Core didn't give up, I didn't give up. And I certainly didn't give in. I'm going to get back to doing what I love. I'm going to get back to winning.
In Alabama, school spirit is in the air on Friday nights. At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're giving our customers the opportunity to show their school spirit every day with our new Spirit debit card. We've designed a unique card for every Calhoun County school that includes the school's logo. So every time you use the card, you're showing your school spirit. Come in and get your school spirit debit card today. We've got spirit at F&M Bank. Service, solutions, and strength. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Calhoun County Basketball Tournament semifinal action. Anniston Bulldogs with a 10-8 lead. And there you see Torrey Brown in his 2nd season as the head coach there for the Anniston Bulldogs. And back out of the timeout. Bethune has it for the Bulldogs. Over to Haynes, to Montgomery, to Fairley, back to Bethune. Fairley this time on the outside. He'll pull it back out. Picked off by Murdoch Simmons and the Cardinals. To Wood. Jump shot. No good. Haynes has it for the Bulldogs. Takes off the other way. Goes up. Contact. No whistle. It's going to go out, and it will be Sacred Heart's ball.
Good thought by James Haynes. Haynes actually initiated the contact. He was trying to draw the foul. As we look at the replay, watch Haynes come in. Puts his shoulder kind of into Deontay Wood. A big collision there. No call. Ball goes out of bounds, and it's Sacred Heart basketball.
Watkins brings it up the floor for the Cardinals. Over to Stancil. Inside to Simmons, but knocked away. And Fairley has it for the Bulldogs. To Davis, to Bethune. And back to Fairley. Haynes throws it down low to Davis. He turns around. Shot up, no good. Wood pulls down the rebound for the Cardinals.
Davis gets up limping as he goes down the court, favoring that ankle. It looks like he's got a brace on his knee, and he's in some pain right now.
Three-pointer from Stancil, no good. He gets his own rebound, though, but stolen back away by Haynes. Haynes drives in. Offensive foul called on James Haynes.
Nice job by Khalil Watkins that time, staying in, taking the charge. Let's look at it once again. Good job by Watkins. Watkins standing like a statue, took the charge. Good call by the official. And he goes right back over to Sacred Heart. You get the feeling, Jason, right now, offensively, Sacred Heart just not really kind of in the flow of things. They're playing really good on the defensive end, but right now on offense, you take away those 2 3-pointers we've had from Khalil Watkins, and they've really not done anything on the offensive end.
Watkins into Wood, down low to Simmons. He goes up, nothing. And Bethune takes out the other way for the Bulldogs. Bethune to Hall, as he is fouled on his way to the bucket.
Hall will be at the line now to shoot 2, and That's going to be another foul whistle against Sacred Heart. That one going to be on Deontay Wood. So not much offense and a lot of fouls. That's been the story for Sacred Heart here in the first quarters. The first free throw is up and good. We'll see a substitution coming in for Sacred Heart as they're going to bring Caleb Brown in off the bench, and he will replace Murdoch Simmons. 16 fouls whistled here. Still 2 minutes to go. Chase in the first quarter. That's going to be a big story if that keeps up as we go through this game.
And the second free throw good from Hall. So a 12-8 lead for the Bulldogs as Khalil Watkins gets it up for Sacred Heart to Stancil. And to Brown this time. Down low to Wood. He's working against Montgomery. He goes up. His shot no good. And Sacred Heart gets it right back. Wood makes another move to the basket. Montgomery sends it back, and it'll be Anniston's ball this time.
Last touch by Wood. Wood had his shot blocked and trying to get the rebound and knocked it out of bounds. So some full court pressure coming from Sacred Heart. And Deontay Wood's he's got 2 points in the game, but he's really having a tough time around the basket, missing a lot of shots that he would normally make. And it makes you wonder if maybe that injury is bothering him a little bit. It's a muscular injury.
Fairley to Hall, and he's going to travel.
No question about that one. Hall tried to move before he made the pass, shuffled the feet. And a turnover by Anniston. If you're a Sacred Heart fan, Chase, you got to actually be pretty happy right now. You've not had really much offense at all in this first quarter, but you're only down by 4 because of how well your defense has played.
Brown and Watkins toss it up at the top for the Cardinals. To Wilson. Over to Stancil. Long ball for Wilson off the mark. He goes for it, but it'll be Hall on the other end, laid it up and in for the Anniston Bulldogs. Make that a 14-8 lead.
Classic 3-on-2 break there by Anniston off of the turnover.
Brown to Watkins. Back to Brown. Inside to Wood. He goes up, no good, and rebounded by Hall. And he'll get it back to Fairley, who gets it across half court for the Bulldogs. Quick steal there, Caleb Brown to Deontay Wood. He drives, count the bucket. And William Fairley picks up a foul for Anniston.
Huge mistake by William Fairley of Anniston. Fairley was just basically had the basketball, careless with it, ball knocked away. A steal by Sacred Heart. They go to the other end, not only make the basket, but a three-point play as well. That is a crucial turn of events for Anniston. Anniston had the 6-point lead. The basketball going to run out the half and maybe get more points before the half. Instead, it goes 3 points the other way.
We got a 14-11 game here. Anniston in control as Fairley gets it to Bethune, and they cross half court. Fairley drives, gets it outside to Hall and back to Bethune. Time running out. Bethune puts up a shot and drains it at the end of the first quarter. 17-11. Anniston Bulldogs on top at the end of one. We'll be back with the second quarter here. It is the Calhoun County Basketball Tournament here on TV 24, presented by RMC Orthopedic and Joint Center, America's First Federal Credit Union, and the Calhoun County Commission.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of J.D. Hess, Tim Hodges, Fred Wilson, Don Hudson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. With our beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums, our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly supports the arts. If you're considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did.
I'll just be a minute.
What you just did with that clutch was so clutch. Just like when you ditched your old credit card and got the America's First credit card with a low interest rate and cash back on purchases.
Time for the second quarter here between Anniston and Sacred Heart. John Holder, Chase Robinson here with you at Pete Matthews Coliseum. Semifinal Saturday night of the Calhoun County Basketball Tournament. Anniston with the momentum and the basketball to begin quarter number 2. Big shot for Bethune to end the first quarter. And they'll have a chance to extend the 17-11 lead here. Bethune up top for Anniston to Montgomery to Fairley. In the corner to Felton. Felton goes baseline and out of bounds, so it'll go towards Sacred Heart this time.
Felton just slipped down, ball went out of bounds. He went out of bounds, and turnover by Anniston.
Riggins brings it up for the Cardinals. To Watkins, back to Riggins. Over to Stansel. They continue to work it around the horn inside to Deontay Wood. This time he goes up and a jump ball is called, and it will stay with Sacred Heart.
Deontay Wood just having a tough time inside. He's got 5 points, but he's missed probably 6 or 7 shots inside the paint.
Into Stansel, back to Wood, and a foul called against Felton.
Felton trying for the steal that time and just banged into Deontay Wood, so a very easy call for the officials. Anniston matching their largest lead of the game here at 6 here in the opening minute of the second quarter.
Stansel cross court to Watkins, inside to Simmons. Simmons goes up and his shot falls.
Nice play design by Sacred Heart, finding Simmons wide open on the baseline. Then Simmons made a nice move to the basket and gets it to roll in.
Jimmy Felton will bring it up for Anniston this time. Over to Fairley, and Deontay Wood picks off that pass, and he takes off in Sacred Heart's direction. Over to Stansel, up top to Riggins. Long ball from Watkins, no good. And Fairley has it, and there will be a foul whistle against Steven Stansel in Sacred Heart.
Stansel has been quiet after pouring in 19 against Weaver last night in the quarterfinals. He has held scoreless here so far. The 6:24 mark of quarter number 2. And yet another foul. Sacred Heart already now with 17 fouls. So Anniston is going to be in the bonus for the next 6:24 of the half. And they're in the bonus right now at the line to shoot 1 plus the bonus.
It's William Fairley at the line for Anniston. Front end is no good. And Sacred Heart with a rebound.
Free throws will be huge here for Anniston in this quarter, being in the bonus already if they can make those, but they missed the front end of that 1-and-1 opportunity.
Watkins to Riggins.
I really like the patience of both of these teams. The pace could be frantic, but these are two very well-coached teams. I really like the patience on offense.
Murdoch Simmons three, no good. Anniston gets it. Felton stuck in the backcourt and picked off by Stansel. He drives in. His floater up and good.
Timeout going to be called by Anniston. Just as we mentioned, Steven Stansel had been quiet. Just a floater down the lane after intercepting the pass, then a floating jumper, and all of a sudden Sacred Heart's back to within 2.
Coach Torrey Brown wanted a timeout there with his Bulldogs. Talk things over here.
One thing that Anniston is doing very well tonight, Chase, is they are doing a great job on the defensive boards. Not a lot of second chance opportunities for Sacred Heart. Once they get the shot off, in most situations we've seen, there have been very few second chance opportunities for Sacred Heart. Good job by Anniston on the defensive boards.
Out of the timeout, there you see Sacred Heart under head coach Raphael Graves. His 6th season at Sacred Heart has done wonders for the Sacred Heart basketball program.
The #1 team in the state right now in the latest ASWA poll in Class 1A, 3-time defending Class 1A state champions.
Haynes in the corner to Felton. Inside to Hall, shot off the mark, gets his own rebound, gets it back outside, and the Bulldogs to start things over. Felton drives, throws it underneath, and it goes out.
Now, Anniston, the team that looks a little bit uncomfortable on the offensive end. They've really not had a very good possession in a while on the offense. Haven't scored in this quarter so far, 3 minutes in almost.
Riggins up top. Over to Watkins. Quick pass in the corner to Wilson. Three-pointer no good. And Bethune gets it, and they'll say he stepped out of bounds.
Anniston with some kind of careless turnovers here in this quarter. Had the intercepted pass. We had the pass right at the end of the quarter. We see right here, there's another one of those. The ball comes right into the lap of our Tony Castaneda.
Deontay Wood fights his way into the basket, but shot no good. And Bethune gets it for Anniston. He's going to drive in this time. Goes up, shot good.
Big shot by Savion Bethune to kind of break the scoring drought for Anniston. That's the first points Anniston had scored since that three at the end of the first quarter.
And there will be a travel whistle against the Cardinals. Good call by our official there. Our officials all tournament long have been coming to us from the Metro Birmingham Association.
Just kind of have the feeling both of these teams, really, to be honest with you, Chase, offensively, they're playing great defense. Defense has been outstanding, but offensively just can't seem to get into any kind of a rhythm so far.
Bethune will work it up, get it to Haynes across court. Haynes drives in, jumper, no good. Wood with a rebound for the Cardinals.
Wood starting to clean all the glass, talking about second chance opportunities. Wood now starting to clean up things with the defensive end for the Cardinals.
Wood, he's up top this time for the Cardinals. Over to Wilson, and back to Wood. No trade spots with Watkins. So Wilson down low to Simmons. He's going to drive in this time, and Simmons rather, will go to the line for two.
It's been a good play for Anniston, as we basically just had Simmons kind of hides there on the baseline. He's been wide open twice for good shots.
Anniston with a 4-point lead, 19-15 over Sacred Heart. We'll be back here with more from the Calhoun County Basketball Tournament live on TV 24.
I got back my smack talk touchdown hole-in-one 3-point home run hat trick pavement pounding record-setting goal across the finish line. Because Core didn't give up, I didn't give up, and I certainly didn't give in. I'm gonna get back to doing what I love. I'm gonna get back to winning.
In Alabama, school spirit is in the air on Friday nights. At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're giving our customers the opportunity to show their school spirit every day with our new Spirit debit card. We've designed a unique card for every Calhoun County school that includes the school's logo. So every time you use the card, you're showing your school spirit. Come in and get your school spirit debit card today. We've got spirit at F&M Bank. Service, solutions, and strength. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Nice crowd on hand here in game number 2 of 4 tonight here at the Calhoun County Basketball Tournament. Semifinal Saturday night. Championships will be played Monday night. And Anniston with a 19-15 lead here. 3:54 left in the half. And Murdoch Simmons is at the free throw line.
So they have to feel like, Chase, that one of these teams is going to get things untracked on offense, and that's the team that's going to take control and win this game, because I don't think that Coach Brown or Coach Graves, either one, would tell you if they're having a great night offensively.
Both free throws off for Simmons. And Bethune's going to toss it out of bounds. They'll say it hit off a Sacred Heart Cardinal.
They're going to say maybe Khalil Watkins or Murdoch Simmons maybe got a fingertip on it just before it went out of bounds. So it will remain with the Bulldogs.
Felton to inbound. Gets it into Bethune. Back to Felton. And he's going to drive in this time. He saw a hole, goes up, no good. Davis will lay it right back up and in for Anniston.
Davis, good follow-up. That leg still bothering him a little bit as we see him run back up the court there. Now we're going to see a stop in play. And now that's going to be Murdoch Simmons with an injury. So we see the replay, the ball too hard, and then look at that nice tip in by Davis. And that's a big loss, for a significant loss for Sacred Heart, as we see Murdoch Simmons go to the training room here at Pete Matthews Coliseum. Obviously a very key player for this Sacred Heart team.
You saw in that last replay, landed funny on the ankle, I believe, so he'll go get checked out. Meanwhile, Quinn Riggins will drain a three from way outside.
Riggins tried one of those earlier, didn't come close. That one didn't come close to missing. That was nothing but string music.
Felton for Anniston. He's up top to Davis. Davis in the corner to Fairley. Three up and no good. And they'll say Hall stepped out of bounds there, so that will give Sacred Heart the ball to work with. Length of the floor to go here for the Cardinals.
Excellent call by the officials. Hall had the basketball, but he was standing out of bounds. Officials right on top of that. And Sacred Heart with a three could tie this thing. They have never had the lead in this game yet.
The drive is no good from Riggins. And Dontavius Davis gets the rebound, gets it to Bethune. Bethune's going to drive. He goes up. Hook shot no good. Back to Bethune, and once again out of bounds for Hall.
2 times in a row where Hall's made a great play on the basketball, but he's been standing out of bounds. That time straddled the line. Officials right on top of that. As a matter of fact, not only has Sacred Heart not led in this game, Sacred Heart's not even been even since 0-0. They have trailed this entire game.
Wilson. Three on the way. No good. Stancil gets it for the Cardinals. A foul call. They'll get Bethune with a holding foul underneath.
So he was on the floor, not a shooting foul. But it is a 1-and-1. Is now that is the 17th foul whistled against Anniston. So Anniston's kind of caught up with Sacred Heart here. 2:08 to go in the half. Sacred Heart 18 fouls. Anniston with 17 fouls now. And both teams will be in the bonus the rest of the way.
Stancil drains the first one. One more up ahead. Chance to make this a 1-point game, John.
They are making their free throw opportunities. Stancil drains another one.
21-20. Bethune works it across, being guarded closely by Riggins. Bethune's going to drive down to Davis. Shot up, no good. Hall with the rebound. The putback is good.
Hall, the third time is the charm. The last 2 times trying to make a great play. That time did make a great play, and a key basket for Anniston as we roll under 2 minutes.
Long ball from Riggins again. This time no good. Wood gets it, goes back up, and he is fouled. Deontay Wood will go to the line for 2.
Deontay Wood at the line to shoot 2. And on the defensive end, one of the things we're seeing, even as big as Davis is, Davis probably equal in height, maybe even an inch taller than Wood on the inside. But one of the things about Deontay Wood that we've seen for years now, Chase, is his ability to affect people's shots on the inside. He is a great shot blocker. His arms are very, very long. Great jumping and leaping ability. And so you always have to be aware of him inside because of his great shot blocking ability.
Wood cuts it back to a 2-point Anniston lead. Second free throw is good. We're back to a 1-point game.
Sacred Heart making their free throws. Anniston has yet to make a free throw in this game.
Felton to Fairley. Back to Bulldogs continue to work it around with a minute 12 on the clock. Fairley to Felton. He drives, jumper on the way, no good. Wood jumps up about the height of the rim and pulls the ball down.
Wood took a poke in the face there. Still able to get the rebound and bring the ball up the court. Another great job of defensive rebounding by Deontay Wood. Really starting to kind of dominate on the defensive end now for Sacred Heart.
Under a minute to go. Anniston with a 1-point lead, so Sacred Heart's going to hold it out for the final shot.
Keep in mind, Sacred Heart has never led in this game. They make a shot here before the half, they'll take their first lead of the entire first half.
Riggins pulls it way out this time. Back to Watkins and back to Riggins. 15 seconds. Watkins this time drives. He loses it though. Wood gets it back. Wood drives, goes up, count the bucket for Deontay Wood as Sacred Heart takes the lead for the first time tonight.
Deontay Wood with two big old-fashioned three-point plays. Drives the baseline. 4 gray jerseys in the neighborhood, and then the reverse layup and draws the foul to go to the line to complete possibly the old-fashioned three-point play. He did it right at the end of the first quarter, and Chase has done it again here right at the end of the first half. Huge basket, huge play that time by Deontay Wood. Anniston has led for 15 minutes and 55.1 seconds of this quarter, of this half, until that last basket by Deontay Wood.
So Wood gives Sacred Heart a 1-point lead and has a free throw to go. And it is good. So Sacred Heart takes a 2-point lead. 4 seconds left on the clock here in the first half. And Fairley to Bethune. Long three is no good. So Sacred Heart will have the 2-point lead, 25-23, as we go to the halftime break. They waited till 4 seconds left in the quarter to take the lead, but they did so for the Anniston Bulldogs. As we go down to Gerhard Mathangani now, standing by with Coach Torrey Brown.
All right, we're here with Anniston coach Torrey Brown. Coach, this has been really a first half of runs. First, you got us to a hot start, and then they came back down by 2 points at halftime. What's your assessment here for the first half?
Well, we did a really good job early on in our zone, kind of matching out of it. But then they killed us on the second chance shots. So I don't know how many offensive rebounds they got, but they got quite a few, which led to maybe 10 or 12 points for them. So we got to do a better job second half and come out and clean that up.
Thank you very much, Coach. We'll let you get back with your team.
I appreciate it.
Coach Torrey Brown of the Anniston Bulldogs, down by 2 at halftime. Guys.
Sacred Heart fought their way back and has the 25-23 lead here at the halftime break. And Deontay Wood with 2 3-point plays to get his Cardinals back into it here at halftime. We'll be back with more coverage here from the Calhoun County Basketball Tournament on TV 24.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of J.D. Hess, Tim Hodges, Fred Wilson, Don Hudson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. With our beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums, our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly supports the arts. If you're considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did.
My dad taught me to fish right here years ago. But when an old sports injury started slowing him down, I knew we'd need to search for the latest procedures in knee and hip replacement. With physical therapy tailored to his needs, a dedicated team of doctors and nurses, and he'd want a fast recovery time. So where'd he find all that?
Right here at RMC.
Don't just dream it. Call Family Savings Credit Union. Right now, get something you want for as low as 2.24% APR. You can even apply online or by phone. Family Savings Credit Union, where your money grows with you and your family.
Water is in a bit of trouble. Suspected of carrying harmful pollutants into community storm drains, stormwater faces a serious problem. When it rains, dirt, motor oil, excess fertilizer, and trash are washed into rivers, lakes, and streams. And a clean raindrop becomes an unwilling accomplice in the problem of water pollution. It's up to each of us to do our part. Visit cleanwatercampaign.com to learn more. Help protect our water.
It's the Calhoun County Basketball Tournament live here on TV 24, presented by RMC Orthopedic and Joint Center, America's First Federal Credit Union, and the Calhoun County Commission. John Holder, I'm Chase Robinson here with you at halftime as the Sacred Heart Cardinals took the lead with 4 seconds left there in that first half, 25-23 over the Anniston Bulldogs. And we are at the F&M Bank three-point shootout, John. Got folks from some local schools out there.
Jacksonville Christian's Bria Cup, Faith Christian's Christian Covington, Emily Reed from Weaver, Miracle Denard from Sachs, Felicia Dudley from Anniston, Chastity Nelson of White Plains, Allison Bonds of Alexandria, and Caitlin Ridley from Piedmont. And these are the contestants in this game for the F&M Bank three-point shootout. They have, I believe, 1 minute. They're keeping the time on the floor, Chase, to make as many three-point shots as possible. Of course, F&M Bank partnering with TV 24 back during football season on our Pigskin Roundup show for our scholarship spirit toss. That was a lot of fun. And we're going to continue that here in basketball season. The folks at F&M with the three-point shootout. We'll have three-point shooting competitions between girls and boys. All of the games here in the semifinals. We had it the last game. We'll have games coming up. We'll have more shooters coming up. Boys at halftime of the 7 o'clock girls game. And then we'll have another round of girls shooters. All the teams in Calhoun County will be represented with a boy and a girl each. And then we'll take the winners in here for the championship, I guess, Monday night during halftime of the boys and girls county championship games. So that's what you're looking at right now. And I believe they just got the official start.
There you see Chastity Nelson from White Plains. She's putting them up there for representing the Lady Wildcats. And from Alexandria,
Allison Bond shooting right now for the Valley Cubs. Every one of these, when they're not shooting the other two players, correct me if I'm wrong, Chase, they rebound.
Yes.
And then it will be their turn, and they will swap out.
And you got both teams cheerleaders out there helping out with the rebounding too, and these young ladies get some shots up. How many would you make, John, if you were out there?
Well, let's see. I'm a pretty good three-point shooter, Chase. I really am, especially when I'm unguarded. So
yes,
I probably would do. I think I would do pretty well on this. I think so. Unguarded. Notice I said unguarded.
We saw some big three-pointers there in the first half of the Sacred Heart Anniston game, and a couple for Sacred Heart really got them back into this game.
Yeah, the three-point play, and especially, I tell you, the old-fashioned three-point play a couple of times from Deontay Wood in the first half. I think that was really the big factor. Big players show up and make big plays in big games, and Deontay Wood certainly doing that here in the first half. As Wood now has 10 points here at halftime. That doesn't sound like a lot, but he's the leading scorer in the game for either team.
Alicia Dudley on the floor for the Lady Bulldogs. She was our America's First Federal Credit Union Player of the Game.
And she is filling it up. She's made about 4 in a row. Wow. Make that 5 in a row, 6 in a row. And finally missed one. Dudley wearing it out for Anniston. And made another one. That's 6 out of 7. Make that 7 out of 8. She has found her spot. 8 out of 9 as we're watching her right now. Missed another one. That's an 80% shooting. She made another one. Just in the time I've watched her, she's made 10 threes. There's 11. I don't want to take on her, though. I'm pretty good. But there's 12 threes. Wow. What a tremendous effort there by Dudley of the Bulldogs.
Simeon Shaddricks had 16 in our first game there at halftime, so he won that first game, and we'll see the final numbers of this one, but Dudley did pretty well there.
Just putting I don't know what the other ones did, but just watching Dudley, if I were to be a betting man, I put my money maybe on Shaddricks and Dudley Monday night.
So F&M Bank putting on the three-point shootout. You'll see that at halftime of all these games. Let's go to Gerhard Mathagani standing by on courtside.
All right, we're here with Chris Latta with F&M Bank. And Chris, we got a little bit of an introduction about what was going on here at halftime. But for those of us just joining, talk about the competition that you had with that three-pointer.
Every school has a chance to nominate a girl and a boy basketball player. And they're doing a three-point competition tonight. The winner of that three-point competition will get a chance to shoot for a $10,000 shot, half-court shot on Monday night. Some of the money be a scholarship, some money goes to the school, but it's a total of $10,000.
Absolutely. And for those also that are just joining us with basketball season, F&M does a really good job of supporting really all sports. You're with us with our football, with the Spirit Toss at the beginning of the games. Talk about just the continued support for high school athletics in this area.
Well, you know, we're a community bank, so we're about our communities, and what's more a part of the community than high school athletics and high schools. So we're just trying to figure out different ways to support the student athletes, support the schools, and to give back to our communities, you know, through those things.
You and all F&M Bank doing such a great job of supporting our high school athletics. So the girls were today, or the girls were right now. The boys were earlier. Simeon Shadricks won the boys. They're tallying up the girls' scores right now. And okay, that $10,000 will be shot on Monday. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Gerhard. And F&M Bank doing a great job supporting athletics. Well, we'll be back in just a minute with more. Halftime, Sacred Heart leads 25-23 over the Anniston Bulldogs here at the Calhoun County Basketball Tournament.
It's time to get after it. So turn it on, crank it up, and let's get after it together. America's first small business services.
For great food and great service and a great atmosphere, come and see us at Top of the River in Anniston. At Top of the River, all of our products are prepared fresh daily with our own special recipes, including our farm-raised, grain-fed catfish. Large groups and private groups from 50 to 250 are welcome, and reservations are accepted 7 days a week. And ask about our full on-site catering, family-owned and operated since 1982, and always kid-friendly. Top of the River in Anniston.
My dad taught me to fish right here years ago. But when an old sports injury started slowing him down, I knew we'd need to search for the latest procedures in knee and hip replacement. With physical therapy tailored to his needs, a dedicated team of doctors and nurses, and he'd want a fast recovery time. So where'd he find all that?
Right here at RMC.
Lynn Costner Auto Sales is celebrating their 20-year anniversary and says thank you, Northeast Alabama, for 20 years of great customers and community support. Over the past 20 years, Lynn Costner Auto Sales has established itself as one of the premier used vehicle dealers in the area. They take pride in doing business the right way and in taking care of their customers before and after the sale. Lynn Costner Auto Sales has a large selection of cars, trucks, SUVs, and vans. When you get ready to buy your next vehicle, stop by in person or visit the website at lyncostnerautosales.com.
It's time to get after it. So turn it on, crank it up, and let's get after it together. America's first small business services.
It's time for second half action between Anniston and Sacred Heart, and the Cardinals hold the 2-point lead. John Holder, Chase Robinson courtside here with you in this semifinal game here from the Calhoun County Basketball Tournament. Game 2 of 4 tonight, and Anniston has the ball to begin half number 2 as Bethune drives, gets nothing out of that trip.
Bethune again trying to initiate contact on Deontay Wood, but instead threw up a bad shot, and rebound Sacred Heart comes to Anniston again.
Fairly driving in, and they're going to count the basket on that one. Goaltending against Wood.
Pinned it up against the glass, and that's almost an automatic from the officials when they see that happen. So that'll be 2 points for Anniston. If you're just joining us, Sacred Heart trailed the entire first half until 4.9 seconds to go in the half. And then Deontay Wood with a basket and then a free throw with 4.9 to go to give Anniston the lead, or should say Sacred Heart the lead at halftime, the only time they've led in this game.
And it's back to a tie game here as Riggins holds it out. Over to Wilson. He'll fire up the long three. It's off the back of the iron, and Anniston Bulldogs get it back as Fairley dribbles it up. Fairley with 4 points here in this game. Bethune goes up, nothing. Once again, tried to initiate that contact, didn't get a whistle, so the other way we go, there will be a whistle that time against the Bulldogs.
That one away for the basketball that time.
We'll get James Haynes with his third foul. Watkins into Stancil. Ball's going to go out. It's going to stay with Sacred Heart. Stancil will inbound. Into Riggins. Riggins just going to hold it out for the Cardinals. Over to Watkins. Back to Riggins. He drives in this time. Floater no good. Who's going to have it? Sacred Heart does. Wilson pulls it back out for the Cardinals.
And Sacred Heart being very patient on the offensive end. You watch this game, you would have no idea that there was 6:07 to go in the third. It was like they're playing with the last minute of the half.
Wood shot no good. Bethune gets it for the Bulldogs. He brings it up to Montgomery to Haynes. Haynes drives in this time, goes up, and Wood gets the rebound for the Cardinals. He's going to drive in. He goes up, and it's good.
Way too easy for Deontay Wood. He takes the ball, rebounds it, and goes from one end of the floor to the other, and was never, ever even challenged as he went coast to coast with that layup.
That's 12 points on the day for Deontay Wood. Bethune up top for Anniston. To Davis to Haynes. The drive results in 2 points there for the Anniston Bulldogs. James Haynes' first points of the day.
Backdoor cut by James Haynes that time, and a good play by Davis to get the ball to him.
Wood to Riggins. To Watkins. And back to Riggins. To Watkins inside to Wood. He turns around, goes up, foul call. They'll get Theron Montgomery, I believe, with that foul.
Once Wood posts up, he has such a variety of moves, Chase, on the inside. That time, double team. Watch the post up. Then he's going to be double teamed and goes up between both defenders and draws the foul. Really good pivot action on the inside by Deontay Wood.
Dontavius Davis will get that foul for Anniston as Wood is at the line. First one good. He's perfect from the line so far tonight.
It's one of the things Alabama head coach Avery Johnson's got to love about Deontay Wood. A big guy that also is a good free throw shooter. So John Petty the other night against Auburn. He's a great shooter, but only a 58% free throw shooter. And Wood has made all of his tonight.
So a 29-27 lead for Sacred Heart. 4:50 left here in the third quarter. Haynes has it up top for the Bulldogs. He drives in, runs into some traffic, foul whistled. That will be against Victor Wilson, his second, or his third rather.
Sacred Heart, after seizing that lead with 4.9 seconds to go in the half, has not relinquished that lead. Almost halfway through the third quarter now.
Bethune to inbound. Into Haynes. Haynes to Fairley. To Montgomery to Bethune. Three-pointer on the way from Haynes. Hits nothing and will go out of bounds.
An air ball, probably not the best shot selection for Mr. Haynes.
James Haynes had 5 3-pointers Monday afternoon against Faith Christian in Anniston's first game of the tournament. Wood goes up, picks up 2 points for the Cardinals, and that gives them a 4-point lead.
Deontay Wood was a little slow in getting started. Couldn't really find the basket, but now he's really picked things up from a late second quarter now to the midway point of this third quarter.
Bethune up top, 4 minutes to go here in the third. And a 31-27 lead for Sacred Heart. Davis to Bethune, long three. No good, and Stancil gets the rebound for the Cardinals.
Stancil comes up grimacing. Looks like he may have had a little injury on that rebound, and now Sacred Heart going to run some clock here.
Watkins and Riggins up top for Sacred Heart. And he'll just hold it out. Ball against the hip.
Coach Raphael Graves going to make Anniston extend that defense. Remember, no shot clock in high school basketball, so they've got the 4-point lead. They can do this as long as they would like.
Ames challenges Wilson there. Sacred Heart keeps the basketball, and they'll hold it out. Riggins drives in, jumper up, no good. Montgomery with the rebound for the Bulldogs. Bethune loses it, goes out off the Cardinals, so it will stay with Anniston. And media timeout is called with 2:52 left here in the third quarter, and a 31-27 lead for Coach Raphael Graves and Sacred Heart. There you see Wood driving in, getting 2 points like he has done here in the second half. And Sacred Heart has the lead. And we're back here at the Calhoun County Basketball Tournament.
I got back my smack talk touchdown hole-in-one 3-point home run hat trick pavement pounding record-setting goal across the finish line. Because Core didn't give up, I didn't give up, and I certainly didn't give in. I'm gonna get back to doing what I love. I'm gonna get back to winning.
In Alabama, school spirit is in the air on Friday nights. At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're giving our customers the opportunity to show their school spirit every day with our new Spirit debit card. We've designed a unique card for every Calhoun County school that includes the school's logo. So every time you use the card, you're showing your school spirit. Come in and get your school spirit debit card today. We've got spirit at F&M Bank. Service, solutions, and strength. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Calhoun County basketball tournament action. There you see the Oxford Yellow Jacket boys. They'll be coming up in just a little while, taking on the Sachs Wildcats. We'll see the Oxford girls and Jacksonville play coming up after this one. Here in the semifinals, John Holder, Chase Robinson courtside here with you as Anniston inbounds the ball. Bethune into Fairley, back to Bethune. Down low to Davis. He'll lay it off the glass and in.
Nice job by Davis. We talked about Wood posting up. Davis with a nice post up that time. Really did a good job of clearing out the paint that time. Posting up. Yeah, nice job with a turnaround jumper and laying it up and in.
Wood loses it that time. Fairley jumps on top of it. Gets it to Montgomery and back to Bethune. Sacred Heart defense has really cranked it up here in the second half. Davis finds a hole and picks up 2 points, though, and ties it up at 31.
They've shut down Savion Bethune. Bethune had 11 in the first half, Chase. None here in the second half, but has left the door open for Davis on the inside.
Riggins to Stancil. Back to Riggins up top. And they'll continue tossing it around. Caleb Brown this time gets it down to Wood. He turns around, goes up, foul called. And Deontay Wood will go to the line for two.
Most amazing thing about that sequence to me, Chase, is how in the world did Deontay Wood even get that shot off? And almost nearly made it, which would have been the play of the tournament probably if he makes that underhanded shot. Deontay Wood with 16 points in the game. Perfect 6 of 6 from the free throw line. 2 more coming here. By far the leading scorer for both teams in this game. And of course, John Holder jinxed him, talking about his perfection from the free throw line as he misses his first one.
Dontavius Davis picked up his third foul there for Anniston. One more free throw up ahead for Wood, and it's good. Sacred Heart with a 1-point lead. A minute 48 left here in the third quarter. Kayla Brown, jumper on the way, no good. Stansel's going to knock it out of bounds, and it's going to go back towards Anniston.
It was a turnover by Anniston in an unconventional way. The ball hit the side of the backboard and turned over to Sacred Heart.
Bethune to Fairley. Across court to Davis. And back out to Fairley. Minute 30 left as Bethune, long three off the iron and no good. Kayla Brown to Wood. Wood makes a move towards the basket. Shot up, no good. And Riggins gets the rebound back to Joshua Brown. His three, no good. Kayla Brown gets the rebound and a foul is called.
Well, that fell on Fairley. Fairley trying to fly in there and get the rebound, but the rebound was already received and fouled him on the arm. Great effort that time, especially Quinn Riggins. That great rebound on the inside.
And Davis picks off the inbound as Stansel picks up a foul.
Well, frustration foul there. I think Stansel was a little bit frustrated by the easy turnover that Anniston received and then commits the foul. So really good defense. I mean, obviously it's just a 32-31 game close to the end of the third quarter. That's been really because I think not so much bad offense, it has been good defense by the Cardinals and Bulldogs.
Bethune works it up across half court. He's going to drive in this time. He loses it and will step out of bounds. So it'll be Sacred Heart's ball.
Savion Bethune trying to make something happen. He's the quarterback of the football team. He's kind of the quarterback of this basketball team as well. Had 11 points in the first half, a big factor in that first half. He's tried a long-range three, tried the deep penetration that time, trying to generate something to spark this Anniston offense.
Riggins will hold it up top with 38 seconds left to Wood. Back to Riggins. They'll work it around the top in the corner. Shot no good. And Woods rebounded, put back no good, but he'll have another chance at some free throws here. Got a pair coming up.
And in the last minute of every quarter, Deontay Wood inside drawing a foul, making something happen. Into the first quarter, it was a basket and a three-point opportunity. Same way before halftime, a basket and a three-point opportunity. This time not the basket, but still a chance to hit some free throws.
And the first one is good.
Now with 18 in the game.
Anniston with 3 players on the floor with 3 fouls. Theron Montgomery will go have a seat there.
Talk about Sacred Heart early in the game was in foul trouble first quarter, but now it's been Anniston that is seeing some foul trouble here as we near the end of the third.
And the second from Deontay Wood is in the bucket there. 34-31 lead now for Sacred Heart.
Wood now with 19 in the game, and he has really, from a late second quarter onward, has really taken over this game in the last quarter and a half.
Bethune to Fairley. Inside to Felton. And there's a foul call. And that will be against Steven Stansel. That'll be his third for Sacred Heart.
Only 14 fouls whistled against Sacred Heart, 5 against Anniston, so neither team in the bonus yet. But keep in mind, Anniston has not made a free throw in this game, and Deontay Wood has made 8.
Down low, shot up and no good, and that will send Hall to the free throw line. Ladrika Hall is at the line for 2.
Big free throws here for Anniston.
He's got 6 points on the day as he misses the first one. Wilson Watkins will step back in for the Cardinals, as well as Hunter Rouse for the Bulldogs. So one more free throw up ahead for the sophomore, Mr. Hall. And the second is good. 2-point Sacred Heart lead. They have the basketball. 12 seconds left here in the third quarter. Riggins picks it up near half court. 10 seconds left. Over to Watkins. Inside to Wood. Looking to make something happen. Goes up nothing. But he tips it back in for 2. And that will do it for the third quarter. Sacred Heart has been in control this whole third quarter as they lead 36-32 over the Anniston Bulldogs, looking to make another trip to the finals. The man, Deontay Wood, running this third quarter as they lead the Anniston Bulldogs. We'll be back with the final quarter here from the Calhoun County Basketball Tournament, live on TV 24.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of J.D. Hess, Tim Hodges, Fred Wilson, Don Hudson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. With our beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums, our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly supports the arts. If you're considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did.
I'll just be a minute.
What you just did with that clutch was so clutch. Just like when you ditched your old credit card and got the America's First credit card with a low interest rate and cash back on purchases.
Back here for the final quarter between Sacred Heart and Anniston. And the Cardinals lead 36-32, and they'll have the basketball to begin quarter number 4. Looking for a chance to return to the Calhoun County Championship game. John Holder and Chase Robinson courtside here with you for this one. We'll be back for the next one, Oxford and Jacksonville on the girls' side. Riggins drives in, gets it back to Joshua Brown, and he drains a 3.
Brown, first points of the game, a huge 3. Gives Sacred Heart their largest lead of the game. As a matter of fact, this is the largest lead that either team has had. It's 7 points.
Felton gets it across for Anniston. He drives, goes up, nothing. And the rebound is Joshua Brown, and he'll pitch ahead to Riggins.
You mentioned it, Chase. Deontay Wood dominated that third quarter for Sacred Heart. Now 21 points in the game, obviously leading all scorers.
3 on the way from Wilson is good. And a timeout called by Coach Torrey Brown and the Anniston Bulldogs. And for the first time tonight, we've got a 10-point lead, John.
This was a game that was, there's a replay of the second consecutive three-pointer. Before you even let it loose, everybody on the Sacred Heart bench was standing up, signaling 3. And this is a game that the first half was pretty much all Anniston. Anniston led, as we said, all the way until 5 seconds or so to go until the half. But the third quarter, Deontay Wood took over the game. And now a couple of big threes by Sacred Heart in this first minute of the fourth quarter. And Sacred Heart has opened up the biggest lead of the game for either team, a 10-point lead.
Sacred Heart fought their way back in at the end of the quarter and have continued to pour it on here in the second half. Winner moves on to the championship Monday night. Will face either Oxford or Sachs. That game will be coming up here in just a little while at 8:30. We'll have a girls game in between these two games, Oxford and Jacksonville. That should be a good one. Number 2 versus number 3. Jacksonville number 2 seed, Oxford number 3 seed, and that one will be coming up next.
You know, you look at these teams, Sacred Heart, 11 and 10. Someone asked me this week that didn't really know a lot about high school basketball and said, how is Sacred Heart 11 and 10 and ranked number 1 in the state and the number 1 seed in the Calhoun County tournament? Well, the schedule they play is unlike maybe anybody in the state in any classification, as they go out of state and play a lot of big schools during the regular season.
Haynes and Bethune backcourt for the Bulldogs. Gets it down to Montgomery and stolen away by Joshua Brown. Up top to Riggins.
Raphael Graves holds up his hand over there with the kind of the stop sign. And we're going to see them run some clock now, and why not? Up by 10 with 6.5 to go.
And Riggins holds it out. Cross to Joshua Brown to Watkins. 3 on the way. No good. Montgomery with a rebound for the Bulldogs. Gets it to Fairley. Fairley back to Bethune.
Anniston going to look to their quarterback here, I would think, Savion Bethune, to make a big play.
And there's a foul on Khalil Watkins.
Watkins coming over the back that time of Davis. Or actually coming behind the back of Thera Montgomery, I should say.
Bethune inbounding it for the Dogs, and it will go out of bounds off of Victor Wilson.
Anniston looking for some kind of an offensive spark here so far in the second half. The Bulldogs just have not scored a whole lot of points. Only 9 points here in half number 2.
Haynes with a 3. It's no good. Sacred Heart will have it now. 10-point lead with 5:50 remaining here in this game.
Sacred Heart going to pull that basketball out to your classic 4 corners and make Anniston come out and defend them.
Wood has it up top to Joshua Brown. Down low to Riggins. Riggins goes up, and he's going to go to the free throw line.
Chase, that's what happens that time when you pull the 4 corners out and make them defend you. And Anniston has no choice, down by 10 with less than 5.5 to go. It opens up those backdoor cuts. That's exactly what happened that time with Quinn Riggins wide open on the baseline and drew the foul. It also opens up some one-on-one opportunities for Deontay Wood in the paint.
Riggins hits that free throw. He's got 4 points on the day.
Sacred Heart continues to expand on their largest lead of the game, now up by 11.
And second is no good. Bethune and Fairley in the backcourt. Fairley cuts through 2 defenders to Davis. Davis down to Montgomery. He lays it up and in.
Nice job that time of breaking the press by Anniston. We'll have a timeout called by the Bulldogs. It's probably the best sequence they've had in the second half, breaking the press, dribbling through, and then finding a wide open man.
As we take a look there at that last basket, Davis to Montgomery, and 2 points for the Bulldogs. Makes it 43-34. Sacred Heart winning the second half for sure with 5:08 left.
Coach Torrey Brown over there for Anniston. Obviously, 5:08 to go. A 9-point lead has been astronomical in this game. Most high school basketball games, 9 points over 5 minutes to go. That's not that much to make up. But the flow of this game, the way this game has been going, the way the defense has been playing in this particular quarterfinal game of the Calhoun County Tournament, points have been at the premium. So I think probably what we're seeing over there from Coach Brown, I would think he's probably talking to his guys about generating something on offense. Defense has been good, but the offense just has not generated enough points here, especially in the second half.
So 5:08 left in this basketball game. Sacred Heart looking for a trip to play Monday nights here at the Pete.
They'll get the winner of Oxford Saxon's our 8:30 game coming up tonight. Another girls quarterfinal game coming up next between Jacksonville and Oxford. The winner of that game will get number 1 seed Anniston for the county championship here at 6 o'clock Monday night at the Coliseum.
Joshua Brown looks to inbound for the Cardinals. Ball loose, and Bethune gets it for Anniston. And he'll dribble around up top for the Bulldogs. And gets it away before he gets whistled with a 5-second call, but Joshua Brown takes it the other way for Sacred Heart. And Wood and Riggins, I believe, will try to chew some more clock, hold it out top, but Haynes is going to step out on Riggins. In the corner to Wilson. Inside to Wood. He goes up, nothing. And is fouled.
Exactly what we talked about there. Not only do you open up backdoor cuts when you go to that four-corner offense, but you open up one-on-one opportunities for Deontay Wood. And for most folks in high school basketball, that's going to be a mismatch as he worked on Hall there. Didn't make the basket, but did draw the foul. And he's been making a lot of hay tonight at the free throw line. And he makes another one right there.
That is 4 fouls against Theron Montgomery for Anniston.
Deontay Wood has 10 points just at the free throw line. Make that 11.
And next season he will be in Tuscaloosa with the Tide. Watkins gets the steal from Fairley, and he lays it up and in.
Will Watkins, his first points of the second half, and this thing is getting away from Anniston quick now, being fueled by the Sacred Heart defense.
Davis's layup no good. He'll get the rebound at the putback though. And off goes Sacred Heart. Watkins to Wilson, three-pointer here, but he's going to step out of bounds before the shot gets off.
Great officiating crew out of Metro Birmingham. They have not missed anything tonight. They're right on top of everything and saw that he stepped out of bounds. And another turnover by Sacred Heart.
Bethune will carry it up the floor for Anniston. 3:50 left. Over to Fairley. To Haynes to Bethune. He goes baseline, and a blocking foul called against the Cardinals.
They might have whistled Bethune for a push-off, but the problem was that Wilson was moving his feet that time, and that's the classic blocking call.
Sacred Heart leads at 47-36. 3:35 left. We'll be back in just a minute with more of this Calhoun County semifinal on TV 24.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of J.D. Hess, Tim Hodges, Fred Wilson, Don Hudson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. With our beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums, our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly supports the arts. If you're considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did.
I'll just be a minute.
What you just did with that clutch was so clutch. Just like when you ditched your old credit card and got the America's First credit card with a low interest rate and cash back on purchases.
.335 left in this one. Sacred Heart leads it 47-36. John Holder, Chase Robinson here with you in this semifinal game here from the Calhoun County Basketball Tournament. Bethune fires up the three. It's off the iron and no good for the Bulldogs. As Joshua Brown gets it, hands off to Riggins. Riggins drives in. Back to Brown and up top to Wood.
Raphael Graves wants to run a little bit of clock here now for Sacred Heart with this 11-point lead, approaching 3 minutes to go in the game.
Riggins to Wood up top. And to Joshua Brown inside to Riggins and back out to Wood. Haynes is going to step out on him.
At times, this is a 5-corner. Sometimes they're bringing all 5 players out beyond the arc.
Wood's going to drive in this time, and he lays it up and in.
Well, folks, I think that one play right there, if you want to know why Deontay Wood is one of the top players in the state of Alabama going to play in the SEC for the Crimson Tide, I think that play right there shows you why.
There on Montgomery's three-pointer, no good for the Bulldogs. And Riggins gets it across over to Watkins, and he'll hold it out. He'll put the ball by his side. And he'll dribble in this time. Watkins goes up, and Montgomery swats against the backboard. Haynes takes out the other way for the Bulldogs. Pulls it out to Fairley. Long three up, no good. Ball's going to go out, and it will stay with Anniston.
And obviously right now, Chase, we're in a situation, 1:51 to go. Anniston down by 13. They're having to live and die by the three at this point in time to have any chance. So Anniston will be shooting the threes here with every offensive possession.
Bethune into Haynes. Up top to Fairley. To Bethune inside this time. And Hall picks up the bucket there for the Bulldogs. Victor Wilson lays it up on the other end for Sacred Heart, and Torrey Brown calls the timeouts. He was not happy with our official there, and Victor Wilson lays it up and in.
Sacred Heart beating the press that time, and easy layup on the other end to go back up by 13 with 1:33 to go. Don't forget, right after the game, our very own Gerhard Mathangani will be talking with the winning coach and our player of the game.
Minute 33 left here. And Sacred Heart, incredible second half. We saw it was all Anniston in the first half, like we talked about. With 4 seconds left in the second quarter, Sacred Heart decided they take the lead, and they haven't looked back since.
And it's really, we talked about Deontay Wood really dominating that third quarter. I think that was the key. This was a 2-point game at the half. Deontay Wood was able to stretch that lead out to about 4 because of the big third quarter he had. And a lot of that's been at the free throw line. He's got 25 points in this game. 11 of those points have been at the free throw line. So almost half his points have been shooting free throws.
And Anniston will have the basketball.
Three-quarter court pressure coming from Sacred Heart.
Bethune walking it up for Anniston. And he drives in, kicks it back to Fairley. Fairley goes up, shot good. Fairley hit that shot on the move, and Anniston gets the steal. Hall back to Fairley, 3 up and good. 51-43.
No quit in these Bulldogs. They were down by 13. Now they've cut it down to 8. 5 quick points in a row for the Bulldogs, but a foul. Sacred Heart will shoot some free throws on the other end. It's been a while since anyone's been shooting any free throws besides Deontay Wood. Look at this nice-looking three-point shot. Set shot and nailed it. Did William Fairley. On the other end, this will be Quinn Riggins to shoot some free throws for Sacred Heart.
First free throw is good. We'll have one more. And it's 5 points on the day for Quinn Riggins. And the second's good.
Riggins makes most shots. Anniston, for any hope as we go into a minute, got to shoot some threes here, down by 10.
Only 2 missed free throws for the entire team for Sacred Heart. Bucket there from Dontavius Davis, 53-45, as Riggins brings it down. To Wilson, to Brown, to Wood. Haynes steps out on him. They start the count. Wood dribbles around. Gets it to Wilson, 28 seconds left. And there will be a foul against Hall. That'll be his first. So Riggins back at the free throw line.
Anniston wasting a lot of time there before the foul. Probably 20, 25 seconds off the clock before they decided to make the foul with 25.2.
And the first one good. One more up ahead is good.
Riggins, all his points in the second half, all 5 of those have been from the free throw line.
Davis up to fairly long three, no good, and Wood gets it for the Cardinals with 10 seconds left. Clock ticking down, and Sacred Heart back to the Calhoun County Championship. They'll play Monday night, the winner of Oxford and Sachs. Deontay Wood will be our player of the game. Gerhard will go catch him, and Coach Graves, after a nice 55-45 win for the Cardinals.
Deontay Wood going to pick up a $25 gift card from folks at America's First Federal Credit Union, our America's First Federal Credit Union player of the game. Also, hopefully have a chance to talk with Raphael Graves, head coach of the Sacred Heart Cardinals, get his thoughts possibly on the upcoming county championship coming up. This will be the 5th year in a row that Sacred Heart has been in the county championship game.
Team's getting an extra day to prepare for the championship this year, with the semifinals being here on a Saturday night, championship on Monday due to the weather we have had this week.
I sort of like that kind of day in between. I kind of like that. I don't like having the snow, though.
I agree with you. Let's go down to Gerhard Mathangani.
I am here with the player of the game, as well as Coach Ralph Graves with Sacred Heart. First off, obviously haven't been able to play until yesterday. Then you played at Oxford High School. Talk about being able to get on the court today here and some of the things you saw out of your team.
It's exciting. You know, we've been ready all week to come back. I mean, we ain't played in like 2 weeks since it started. The snow days got us, but I mean, we just had to stay focused and be ready for whatever had to come up.
I know you're getting ready for celebrating this one, but you're getting ready for Monday night and the championship game. You've come short the last 2 years. Talk about some of the things that have to change on Monday night.
We're just going to go in. We're going to forget about what happened the past 2 years. We're going to go in for this year and go in with the game plan and just prepare for the championship game.
25 points today. You are America's First Federal Credit Union player of the game. There's a $25 gift card for you today. Congratulations. We'll see you Monday night.
Thank you.
All right, it's Deontay Wood, our player of the game. We'll turn it over to Coach Raphael Graves. First off, Coach Graves, they got out to an early lead, and you guys came back there, especially in the second quarter, took that lead going into halftime. Talk about the way this game played out.
I mean, you got to kind of expect those things. You know, a lot of people come in high school games, and you're number 1 seed and things like that. They expect you to be up by 30 in the first 4 minutes. Sometimes you got to jab it out until you're able to knock them out a little bit. You know what I mean? So, and Anniston did a really good job executing their zone with those big, long guys inside. You know what I mean? And we stayed patient. And when our chances came, we took them, and then we executed down the stretch. I can't say enough about how our boys really played down the stretch.
Talk about battling through the adversity. You didn't get a chance to really practice or play during the week, and then you got to play at Oxford High School yesterday, and then you got your first days here. Talk about just the way the guys have handled this kind of unusual tournament.
Well, at Sacred Heart, this is very usual. We don't get a lot of home games. We don't get a lot of things to fall our way. So we have to be ready for whatever adversity comes towards us. So that's the mental toughness through our team. We're trying to teach that all year. Our coaches and our school is trying to teach that all year. Be able to adjust to whatever comes your way. Like you said, playing through snow days, playing through injuries, playing through things like that. Mental toughness, those are things that's going to grow our children as they leave basketball and go on further into the real world.
Final question before I get you out of here. This is the 4th time in a row you play for a county championship. What are some of the things that you want to see on Monday night in order to take this thing home?
You know, just stay settled in, stay focused, get with the game plan, come in and with the intensity that we need and the focus that we need. Ignore all the hype on the outside of it and be mentally tough enough to finish and close the game out.
Thanks for your time, Coach.
Hey, no problem.
See you Monday night.
Hey, no problem.
All right, it's Coach Raphael Graves, one step closer to a Calhoun County championship. Guys.
Thank you, Gerhard. And the Cardinals take that one 55-45 to move on to play Monday night against the winner of Oxford and Sachs. We'll see that one coming up a little bit later on. And there you see Deontay Wood, the man, the Alabama or future Alabama Crimson Tide player, dominating, especially in the second half here at this semifinal game. Coming up, we'll wrap this one up and get you set for Oxford and Jacksonville girls here for the Calhoun County Basketball Tournament.